What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about the rookie for the Chicago Bulls, ladies and gentlemen, Mateus Buzelis, however you want to say it. And ultimately, the reason why I want to talk about him is because he made such a big impact, in my eyes at least, in that last game in preseason against the Cleveland Cavaliers, that I find it hard to believe he will not see... I find it hard to believe that we could potentially see him not play big minutes for the Chicago Bulls in the regular season. I want to discuss why I feel like sooner than later, very soon actually, you will see Mateus Buzelis in the team, maybe even in the starting lineup, but if not, at least getting big minutes off the bench, making an impact where it counts. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below whether or not you believe Mateus Buzelis will get game time for the Chicago Bulls in the regular season, and do you think it's going to dramatically increase over time, or do you think he's going to kind of fit in and get the 25 minutes per night straight away when it comes to the regular season? Or heck, do you think he won't get any minutes at all? Now, this, in my opinion, is not even a conversation, but the reason why people are making this argument is the fact that Billy Donovan kind of mentioned the difficulty of coming into the Chicago Bulls team for a guy like Mateus Buzelis. Ultimately, Mateus Buzelis was a player that got selected with the 11th overall pick in the NBA draft. Some made the argument he should have went higher, some made the argument he should have went lower, but nonetheless, he fell to the Chicago Bulls, and I am very happy with that selection. I think it's very clear we made the right choice there. Ultimately, still time will tell whether or not he's a flop or not, but we'll wait and see. But I'm looking forward to that journey, and I think with the confidence that he brings, the absolute mentality that he brings, I find it hard to believe he's going to fail here with the Chicago Bulls. And that game against the Cleveland Cavaliers kind of showed it. Now, did he drop the most points for the Chicago Bulls? No. Did he get the most rebounds for the Chicago Bulls? No. Was he the most efficient player for the Chicago Bulls? I don't even know, but I'm going to say no, just to throw it out there. So he didn't necessarily dominate the game, at least statistically wise. But my goodness, did he look good when we saw him, man. The first game, he took some really confident shots. He played within himself. He didn't go drastically crazy with turnovers, and, you know, he didn't look out of place or anything like that. So that's the first indicator of him really belonging in the Chicago Bulls team. But then you see the impact that he did make, the defensive impact that he made. A guy of his size and his stature being able to keep up with guards while also playing dominant and physical amongst some of the players that Cleveland had, the physicality factor in it as well. Someone that plays power forward, but Stacey King said it pretty much the entire broadcast, he could see him playing small forward. I think everybody could see him playing small forward with the way that he could dribble the ball. And again, he's just very multi-dimensional. He could do a little bit of everything for you. Ultimately, if he could get that three-point shot in order for the regular season and just in future years, because the guy's still ridiculously young, my goodness, do we have a player on our hands. I cannot see how he fails with the Chicago Bulls. But ultimately, I guess with Billy Donovan saying it's very difficult to get in the team, let's ask the question to you guys. Will Mateus Buzelis get in the team? Well, I have a couple of reasons why I feel like he will. Number one, I think this is very key because Bulls fans are very reactionary sometimes. So we've obviously just seen the game one with Mateus Buzelis, and we instantly have fell in love with the way that he plays and how he fit in with the Bulls. That's a-okay with my books. But another reason why Bulls fans are going to get fed up and they're going to be very reactionary is the way that Patrick Williams has played in preseason. But not many people are talking about it because it is just preseason and no one wants to be too negative. But he had a really bad game. Plus minus wise, points wise, shooting wise, turnover wise. Patrick Williams was probably the worst player we saw on that court against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, people are already fed up with Patrick Williams from last season and 2 seasons ago. Ultimately, the question will, in my eyes, I can already envision this coming. Questions will be asked about why Mateus Buzelis will not be starting over Patrick Williams. Each and every single game that goes by, if Mateus Buzelis plays well, that question is going to start being asked in people's minds, in the comment section, and ultimately even amongst reporters and analysts, until Billy Donovan has to make that type of decision. We'll have to wait and see. But I think the fact that people will be fed up with Patrick Williams, I can already see it coming. is the biggest reason why I think Matas Buzelis will end up getting game time. Maybe not necessarily taking over Patrick Williams' position, but he will get some of Patrick Williams' minutes, and that is something that we have to face. And I think it's a good problem to have, because for a long time, we were struggling with forwards, we were struggling with heights, we were struggling with a lineup that you can bring out there defensively. At least now, when you take off Patrick Williams, you get a 6'10" player in Matas Buzelis ready to take that position over. And vice versa. If Matheus Buzelis starts for the Chicago Bulls and Patrick Williams does find his way off the bench, I think it's going to be very, very nice to kind of have Patrick Williams come off that bench and be that 6'9" defender that we need coming off that bench, and hopefully with an improved shot, because again, last game, it's just one game. We've seen him be consistent from behind the arc. When he can get that shot in rhythm and consistently flowing, it's going to be a nice addition regardless of whoever starts. But I feel like just because people will complain about it, that is the reason why he will get minutes. And I think the Bulls will listen to that. But also, we're talking about opportunities here. And I want to kind of steer this to an Ayo Dosunmu type of situation. Ayo in his first season wasn't expected to get minutes. We were still a very guard-heavy team, but unfortunately, because of that, injuries kind of took place. And Ayo got shifted into that role off the bench, and he impressed enough to be a starter. Billy Donovan deserves a lot of credit for that, because ultimately there are a lot of coaches in the NBA that once you give someone a chance, you may be stagnant with that chance. You may just keep him on the bench because he's just too young, or he's just not ready. He's just not proven it enough. One season isn't enough. But with Billy Donovan, you could say all the hateful things in the world about Billy Donovan, but the one thing you can't say is that he didn't give guys a chance when that chance was available to them. Ayo impressed enough to be a starter for the Chicago Bulls for a lot of his first season and even some of his second season as well. And I think Billy Donovan has it in him to be a player that gives Matas Buzelis a chance, not only in the starting lineup, but gradually getting minutes over time. So he may not start for the Bulls in the regular season, but do I think he's going to play? Absolutely. And look, with more games comes more experience, comes more understanding of the player that we have on our hands. Maybe if he impresses so much in preseason, he will have no choice but to send him into the starting lineup. And look, if you're Billy Donovan in this preseason, you need to experiment with lineups. It was clear that the starting lineup for the Chicago Bulls against Cleveland was really poor. In the first half, we were just not there. We were just not impressive. We were just not a good team. And it's only fitting that a couple of our younger guys, more defensive-minded guys, more of the grit and grind type of guys, ended up bringing us back in that game. So maybe you do need to implement changes in that starting lineup to get the best out of it. Maybe Matas Buzelis will be one of them. I think he has to start at least one game in preseason just to see how it goes. But ultimately, my answer is he will get minutes. He will get big minutes for the Chicago Bulls. He will fit right into this rotation. Just because he's a rookie, it doesn't mean anything. If you're good enough, you deserve to play, especially in this current Bulls team where we are begging for young talent to develop. He is going to fit right in with this Bulls team. And not only that, I think Billy Donovan's going to give him that chance. I really, really, really do. I hope so. And again, I think we need to put this argument to bed that Matas Buzelis won't get minutes for the Bulls. I know it was probably said, but things get said all the time. And at the end of the day, actions will speak louder than words. And Matas Buzelis showed it with his actions in that first game. He needs to show it again in his second game and show it again in his third game. And yes, he'll be inconsistent because all rookies are. But there's certain things that you could just tell, even if he has a bad game, if he's implementing those things, like the defensive awareness and the defensive coverage, the hard work, the athleticism, and impacting in those ways rather than just looking at all the stats, you will see why he deserves to play, and ultimately he could be a starter for the Bulls. We'll wait and see. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Take care. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.